Hello, Tim from Fairplay now on the 30th of April 2025. And if that particular date sounds slightly familiar to you, at least the first part of it, it is because today is exactly the 80th anniversary of Hitler's death in the bunker in 1945, the 30th of April 1945. And although the war dragged on for another week or so in Europe and for another few months in the Pacific, the 30th of April and Hitler's death really was pretty much the end of the Second World War, in Europe at least. And it marked the end of a dreadful kind of period of history. And that is, of course, if you believe the official narrative, there's many people who believe that Hitler didn't actually die in the bunker, but he managed to escape near the end of the war and make his way down to Argentina, where he actually lived for another couple of decades. And Redacted, the YouTube channel, did a quite an interesting piece about that subject. Apparently the Argentinian President Milei is releasing, or has released, some documents which suggests that Hitler did actually end his days in Argentina. Not really sure about it myself. I must say it's one of those conspiracy theories that personally I don't particularly buy into, for a couple of reasons. First of all, you've got a couple of people who were actually present in the bunker. There was a lady called Traudl Junge, who was Hitler's secretary, and then a guy called Rocco Smisch, who was his kind of bodyguard, or one of them, and radio operator in the bunker. Both of them lived to a ripe old age and came out with various biographies and testimonies and interviews and that sort of thing, describing what happened in the bunker. And they stuck to their stories until the end of their lives. And you sort of have to wonder, would they have been able to do that, kind of hold their sort of line of reasoning and truth, or otherwise, had it not been true. So I don't think anyone could have held out that long without revealing something. So that's one reason why I don't particularly believe the whole Argentinian thing. The other reason is because many years ago I read a book called The Mind of Adolf Hitler, which was written by a guy called Walter Langer, and it was part of a kind of an operation that the Americans did during the Second World War. And this guy and his colleagues were really the forerunners of these, these psychological analysts, profilers. You've probably seen films and TV programs about them where, they're trying to find out all about maybe a serial killer. And they kind of look at the crime scenes and details about the crimes, and then they come up with a profile of what the serial killer is basically like. They'll sort of say, well, he's working class, probably got a fairly responsible job, maybe he's a supervisor, that kind of thing, etc., etc. And it ends up a lot of the time being really, really accurate when they finally do apprehend the person involved. And this Walter Langer was, I suppose, a very early example of one of those sort of people. And he put together this profile of Adolf Hitler, including a few predictions. And the whole thing, this report, or this book came out, well, not the book, the report came out in I think it's either late 43 or very early 1944, so over a year before the end of the war. And some of the predictions that this report made, I'll just go through them, but this is quite extraordinary, really. So as the war turns against him, his emotions will intensify and will have outbursts more frequently. His personal appearances will become much rarer because he is unable to face a critical audience. So remember, this was written in 1943 or early 44, and it's true because Hitler made very, very few public appearances during the last stages of the war. But it then goes on from there. There might be an assassination attempt on him by the German aristocracy, the Wehrmacht officers, because of his superhuman self-confidence in his military judgment. Of course, again, this report predates the July plot, so that turned out to be true as well. There will be no surrender, capitulation or peace negotiations. The course he will follow will almost certainly be the road to ideological immortality, resulting in the greatest vengeance on a world he despises. Well, that ended up being true, of course. And from what we know of his psychology, the most likely possibility is that he will commit suicide in the event of defeat. So, yeah, extraordinary predictions and as to what might happen before it did happen. And this is another reason why I think the events that happened in the bunker are actually what did happen. Now, I know if you watch this redacted thing, I'll leave a link to it in the description box below. So they seem very convinced that the whole Argentinian thing happened instead. So I think two things are likely, or one of two things are likely. First of all, we know that all of these political leaders, including Hitler, have doubles, very good, convincing doubles. And it could either be that the person in the bunker was the double and Hitler himself did actually go to Argentina, or the other way round, Hitler did stay in the bunker and it was a double who went to Argentina. I suppose the reasoning for that, the rationale for that might have been to, all of the other Nazis who did actually go to Argentina, it would have given them a rallying point if they thought Hitler was down there with him. Maybe they wouldn't have been given really close access to him. They might have just seen him from a distance and thought, yeah, that's him, and he's still alive, so we can carry on doing our nefarious stuff. So that may well have been what happens, and I think, as far as I'm concerned, for my money, that's probably the most likely thing. So yeah, some very, very interesting arguments there though, and if it does get revealed that Hitler did actually go to Argentina, the actual Hitler went to Argentina, well, that would be quite extraordinary. But I can recommend, if you're interested in this subject, it's a bit of a grim subject, I know, but a fascinating one as well. There's two films which depict the last days in the bunker. Anthony Hopkins played Hitler in 1981 in a film called The Bunker, and he does quite a good impression of Hitler. Not quite there as far as I'm concerned. Doesn't quite nail it, but he's very, very good at in his portrayal. But the best depiction of Hitler has to be Bruno Gantz's Downfall, that was done a few years later. About a quarter of a century later than Anthony Hopkins' film, in I think it's about 2004, something like that. And that performance is absolutely extraordinary. I won't put any links to them, you can soon find them. I think Downfall is actually on YouTube, because I saw it, well, The Bunker's definitely on YouTube, because I saw that a few months ago. And Downfall might even be here as well, so you don't even have to go onto Netflix or anything like that. But yeah, if you're interested in the subject, do check it out. Anyway, a little bit of a different one. I thought I'd just go on about this relatively minor conspiracy theory and give you my take on it. But yeah, until real real credible evidence emerges, for my part, I sort of believe, you know, what's officially sort of said, that he did die in the bunker in this time in 1945, this day in 1945 in Berlin. So other things. This is probably going to be my last video for a little while. You've probably noticed, if you're a regular viewer, that I've been pretty sporadic in my video production. Really what I'm doing is just getting on with my life now, and whereas a year ago, 2-3 years ago, I was pretty much living on Telegram and all of my Telegram groups, keeping my ear very close to the ground. I barely go on to a Telegram from one week to the next now, so I'm kind of getting a little bit out of it, therefore I haven't really got too much to say on these videos. So I am going to be sort of throttling back on these videos. I'm not going to be sort of totally giving up. There will be videos from me on this channel from time to time. There might be some periods when I do a couple of videos a week, or in a particular week, and then couple of months might go by without anything, and then I'll have something else to say and I'll come back again. Needless to say, if they do start up with their nonsense again, or any other kind of nonsense, I will be back here big time, you know, doing daily or sort of at least weekly videos in that event. But the way things are now, I'm just moving on with my life, getting on with my life, and I don't want this channel to totally disappear. I've got very many loyal viewers, and if that's you, I sort of really appreciate your support. It's greatly appreciated. You've really helped me through a very difficult part of my life and our lives, of course, and it's been absolutely fantastic. So I will be coming back here from time to time just to check in with you and to give my opinions on certain things that might be going on, or certain dates and important dates and anniversaries, like I've just done today with the whole bunker thing. And yeah, that is really what I have planned going forward, at least for the foreseeable future. So anyway, I'm going to leave it there. I probably won't be making a video here again for a little while, but I will be back. And until then, Tim from Fair Play Now. Thanks for watching.